Hello, Giorgio. You are up first, sir. You can unmute yourself.
Hey, how you doing?
Pretty good, pretty good. What's going on?
Not much. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I took your advice yesterday, got into my first Christmas game ever last night.
Oh, I didn't even get a chance to play actually myself last night, even though the games are, I know the games, it's really one of the best times to play. It really is on
Yeah,
Christmas night.
yeah. The game was great, booked a nice win, and we'll definitely be doing it in the future when I can.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so you got a hand for us?
Yeah. So this hand is from Seminole Coconut Creek Casino in Coconut Creek, Florida. It's from about a week ago. The game is 2-5, eight-handed, and the game has a 1K cap.
All right, so 2-5, eight-handed from Florida with a 1K cap. By the way, if you're watching the live stream, I had some people complain about the white background, so I'm starting to try a little bit of a black background so it doesn't flash as much. So 1K buy-in, and how deep are you guys?
The effective stack is at 1110.
Okay, so 1110 effective. Okay. All right, get right into it.
Okay, so I played with this villain a few times. Last time was a little bit, couple months ago over the summer. I go up to school in Michigan, and I play here when I come home for either summer or winter break.
Okay.
For my read on him, he's an okay fish. He's a recreational, but he's not totally horrible, and he's the main villain in this hand.
Okay.
So he's under the gun and opens to 25.
Is that about the standard open size, I would say, to in this
Yeah,
game?
for this game, yeah, probably the standard open size. This table specifically. It folds to me in the cutoff, and I look down at Ace of Spades, King of Diamonds,
Okay.
and I three bet to 80.
So hero three bets to 80. Okay, so just over 3x. I mean, you could go slightly larger. It's a little bit subtle, but I'm with you here in the cutoff. And, I think that pretty much I'd be probably three betting from the cutoff here, or close to 100% to knock the other people off. You actually could do some flatting on the button. I think, it's interesting with ace king off sometimes that you will flat heads up against the under the gun from the big blind with no closers in between. Sometimes on the button with with non-loose people in the blinds and not in a three straddle type of setup game. And then I would say sometimes under the gun one is one of the few times you'll actually see a slight reflection. In pre-flop optimal play of ace king off being flatted, although I think in live play three betting off is much better. But okay, so you three bet to 80 from the cutoff, okay?
And then folds back to under the gun, and he makes the call.
Okay. And your heads up?
Yep, heads up.
Okay.
The flop is Ace 3-4, all diamonds.
So ace 3-4, diamond, 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 and hero has ace king with the king of diamonds. That's a
Yes.
pretty good flop.
Yeah, we got top top, and we have nut flush draw.
Yep, you do.
Um, so start off, the villain donks for 125.
So the villain donks for 125.
Yeah, and I thought that was really weird. It didn't really make much sense to me. Um, but yeah, he donks for 125.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because we're gonna have on our third call. We're actually gonna have a donk lead call, and we did a podcast last week that Nate Ball helped me out with about what do donk leads mean and the sizing. I don't know. I don't remember if you're a CLP sub, a website
I'm
sub,
not.
but
Yeah.
yeah, we did a whole thing about like what does a one quarter, what does a one third, what does a large. I would consider this to be sort of a large donk bet. My buddy Josh from Boston's going to be calling in with a third call in a similar scenario with Ace King as well, being donk bet in a three bet pod as well. Here, you're almost on lockdown in the sense that because you have the King of Diamonds here, I think I'd probably be doing a lot of calling. And if we were consistent with that sort of podcast, you block the primary draw that the guy has. This could be a lot of, it could be some flop flushes. It could be some two pair like ace four, ace three that are trying to protect. Obviously, you have a ton of equity to continue, but I would do mostly a lot of calling here. And if it was a small dunk, I might consider raising, but I think at 125, I'm calling here for sure.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, and that's what I decided to do. I
Okay.
just called.
Now, some people in the live chat saying, well, I'm raising. Well, again, it's what is a large donk going to be? I mean, obviously, if you're raising, I assume you're just playing for stacks. It's just a little bit it's not,
Yeah.
I wouldn't say necessarily troubling. It's just that when the caller has the primary sort of nut, um, nut flush card, right? Like can't have king queen with the king of diamonds. I like
Yeah.
the caller here a lot. So the pot's 410.
Yeah. Pot is 410.
Okay.
The turn is the two of spades.
Okay, so it turns a two of spades and it puts a one liner out here, right? Two of five now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then without thinking at all, I don't think he could have jammed any faster. He jams for 905.
So wow. So UTG jams for 905, and not the call that we put up today on December 26th, but the most recent call in before that. A lot of people did not agree with me, and I got panned pretty good in the call-ins, and that's okay. With me telling that guy that I would call off with ace jack against the dudes who he had check called in donk jam. This is a little bit different. This guy has leading here, and he's leading. Let me ask you this question though. Against this type of action, you holding the king of diamonds in your hand, do you think that you're good right now? Do you think you have the best hand right now?
I was 50-50 on it. I was kind of unsure. When he donks, I'm thinking like, I mean, his line to begin with to me just doesn't make any sense. But trying to make sense of it, it seems like he has some sort of two pair, ace three, ace four.
Okay.
I don't think he's doing it with a set. I think we'd probably check raise, but like maybe ace three, ace four. Maybe he has ace five and he just like turned a miracle straight. But I don't know. I mean, this player is, like I said before, is kind of an okay fish, and he's recreational, and he's kind of a little bit unpredictable. So I thought there was like kind of a big chance here that he kind of has total air.
Well, let's just go through the hand reading and the pot odds and the equity needed. Let's take out the air for now, and let's give you the best case scenario where he has two pair. Where he has two pair, he doesn't have a straight, right? So let's say he's got ace four, ace three. How many outs do you have against ace four?
Um, okay, so we got nine diamonds.
Yep.
And then just board pairs. So four, eight.
Well, you've got three kings too, right?
Yeah, three
Okay.
king board pairs.
And then depending on what type of, so that's 12. And then in a best case scenario, you could have up to maybe 15 to 17 if there were counterfeiting outs or something like that. But what are you getting laid from the pot here? It's 905, 1315 for a pot of 1315, right?
It's 905, and then if I call, it'd be to win 2200.
Right. So you can do this a number of different ways. I actually just do it for like a pot odds type of thing. I know that you can also add in your call to find, the equity here too, where, it's 905 and you can divide into 22 and change. But I look at this off the bat as 1.5 to 1. So what you'll find is that you need about 40% equity.
Yeah.
Now, this is the best case scenario. If you have 15 outs, do you have 40% equity? With one card to come?
I think it's with one card to come.
Yeah. Well,
I think
we only
it's a
have one
little
card to
lower.
come, right?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the real dirty way that you can do this is just multiply your outs times two. Let's say that on average you had like 15 outs. You'd only have about 30% equity.
Yeah.
Now,
I was gonna say a little bit less. Yeah.
now the thing is that we can actually do it even a little bit cleaner and divide into unseen cards where it's like 15 into 45 if you were to squarely put a guy on a specific holding, where it would be about 33% equity. But I feel like in the best case scenario here, you don't have the equity. Now, if he has sets, because the board was monotone on the flop, it doesn't look like the only diamond that wouldn't be good would be the deuce of diamonds. So it cuts your outs down to 8, but you don't have any two pair outs now. So 8 outs against a set. And then if he has a straight, you have a clean just 9 outs. So I mean, if you were to just quickly average all those and say like maybe on average I've got 12 outs, I don't think you have the equity here really to call, unless somehow, and I don't think it's really all that close. It's kind of one of these things where I love the call on the flop, but it gets worse and worse, and your equity goes way down once you burn a card and you don't improve. And I also think it could be a fair amount of flop flushes. Wouldn't surprise me if it's sets or flop flushes. But the other thing too here is that I just don't see somebody like donk lead for stacks. Like, I mean, for like ace queen with the queen of diamonds, I mean, that would be like way out to
Yeah,
lunch, as I say.
yeah, and that's the thing I was thinking. It's like when he jams, it's like I have a good hand, but I don't have a hand that beats any of his value. So that kind of gets us into a little bit of trouble um, when thinking about a call.
Yeah. Again, the pot's 13, 15, 905 to call, so you're getting about 1.5 to 1. So personally, I would probably just live to see another day here and fold. What ended up happening?
Um, I actually ended up on a call, um, and in my head, I was like, okay, if I'm behind, I have outs. And I just like from playing with this player before, I thought there was a decent chance he was maybe blasting off with one diamond himself or just had absolute air. And I guess the one diamond would have to be like the ace queen with the queen of diamonds or just the queen of diamonds in general.
By the way, I also didn't include the fact that if you're up against a flop flush, you have 7 outs, which is even worse.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just saying all that. So
Yeah.
it sounds to me like you talked yourself into a call.
Yeah, I talked myself into a call, and I wasn't even. I know I wasn't getting the right price, but like I really thought there was a good chance he was kind of just blasting, and I took a while to decide. And it's funny enough, it's like I said to the table, I was like, I know that a bunch of you in this position might snap me out or snap this off if you had my hand, and I'm not here nit rolling. This bet is just massive. You know, it's 2 times bot. It's 181 bigs. But yeah, I decided on a call.
Okay. And
He turned over Ace of Hearts, King of Spades.
so UTG has Ace of Hearts, King of Spades. I mean, that's once in a great while. But even if you were to throw in, it's like how many offsuit other ace kings does the guy have here with you holding an ace and having a king? There's maybe like another there's another six possible, 2 times 3 kings, six possible ace kings. But I mean, you probably going to have to throw in like giving him half of all the ace kings for even, it still might not even approach the equity needed when you're taking a look at all the other hands like sets and things like that. Plus the fact, of course, you're not winning. This is for a chop. So you'd have to find a lot of other hands here too. So you were up against a free roll, which is just the absolute best scenario. And then did you hit somehow or
Yeah,
what?
yeah. We hit a miracle 10 of diamonds on the river. Yeah.
But
So just,
do you follow me though in retrospect here?
yeah.
Yeah.
No, 100%.
I mean, this is a fold that like a lot of recreational players are not able to make. They look at this and they're like, "Oh, it's like, I've got ace with a nut flush draw." But yeah, I just think you got to really really dig deep here to find it. And I just don't, when you do the structured hand analysis and you put in an entire range, I think it's a little bit optimistic. But I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the call.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.